Featherweight bout here, Jair or Yair, or it could be Jair, I don't know. Jair Farias sitting at minus 170, coming in against Connor Matthews sitting at plus 140. Connor Matthews been on the Contender Series before, took an L. He's back here trying to get his stamp into the UFC. Farias undefeated 10-0. You see the frame there, 5'11". That's one thing you can pick up on if you watch film on him. Guy's got a big frame for featherweight. He looks pretty long. Maybe some chicken legs in there, but I mean, he's undefeated. And the way he's winning these fights, most of them by KO, TKO. Last fight, got a first round KO against Elvis Silva, who's 13-7 at the time. I mean, you look at the other opponents he's facing, 4-4, 4-1, 3-0, 4-3, lower level regional guys. I don't know if it's the greatest competition for Connor Matthews. Like I said, lost on the Contender Series to Francis Marshall, who's been up and down in the UFC, 1 and 2 to be exact. But he lost that decision pretty clearly. He was on his back a lot. And you look at the way that Connor Matthews is winning fights, most of them by submission, and he just couldn't find it there against Francis Marshall. Kind of got beat up for 3 rounds. Coming in as the underdog, it's always, we saw last week, Rodolfo Bellato coming in as a 2-1 underdog, been on the Contender Series before, lost, gets it done as an underdog. Connor Matthews coming in as an underdog. Maybe there's a chance, he's got the experience that he could come in here and pull through. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think there's a chance. Connor Matthews sometimes, especially in the first round, burns hot a little bit. It looks like he's got big power. If you watch his tape, he hurts guys with that right hand. But the second he has you hurt, or the second he sees the opportunity, when he jumps on your back, like he's so fast at getting his hooks in and gets the body triangle. And from there, he's got a lot of rear naked chokes on his record. He has good ground and pound when he can kind of flatten you out. It really, when it comes to finishing ability, and getting the fight into a position where he can finish it or do some good work, it seems like he's got good fight IQ, which you like to see. I mean, he did lose to Francis Marshall, which, Marshall's one of these fighters who's kind of been up and down, like you said, in the UFC, but you can tell the talent's there. Like, he's a good fighter, especially at the Dana White's Contender Series level. Like, it's not the worst loss in the world, but the way he lost, didn't really show a lot of promise. But he's back. He's got that experience. And he's got a lot of finishing ability, so you can't really count him out. Farias, he's tall and he's long. He's got a long reach, and where he fights well is at distance. You watch his tape; he's more like paced and more controlled, I think, compared to Matthews. Where Matthews can get a little wild on the feet and more chaotic. And for Farias, he uses leg kicks really well. A lot of times at this level, and I've seen it in his regional scene tape. He hits all these leg kicks and these calf kicks, and guys just kind of crumble to that kind of pressure and that kind of damage. And, you wonder if he can keep this fight on the feet in that range, if he can kind of do the same thing here. He does get controlled a little bit, especially up against the cage, and if fights hit the mat. So I think if you're Matthews, you got to get this fight to the ground. If you're Farias, you got to stay at range and really beat up that lead leg to where Matthews can't really use it to explode in on these takedowns and stuff. So, for the pick, I'm going to go with Farias. I think that in this style of fight, I think if Connor Matthews can't find the finish in the first round, I think it's going to be harder and harder to take him down. And as the fight goes on, I think Farias is going to have more and more success. So for the pick, give me Farias. I don't know if I'm betting on him. Don't know how I'm going to lean this way as far as betting goes, though.
Yeah, all of his wins for Connor Matthews come in the first round. I mean, it comes down to pretty much what you put it up to is like if Matthews can't get a finish on the ground early, might be a long night for him. If you look at his record, I think the Francis Marshall fight was kind of a reality check because he was fighting straight cans on the regional scene. Like, he's got the Jay Ellis win under his belt. We all know Jay Ellis, the man, the myth, who's like 15 and 100 and something. And then even his other opponents, 0-7, 1-8, 1-2. Like, you look at his rear naked choke win to get him to the Contender Series. If you watch that fight, the guy like fell, and then he was able to just jump on his back and take the rear naked choke. It wasn't like he blast doubled him, got him down, worked for the rear naked right away. It's not like impressive tape if you really watch it, because these guys are just straight trash that he's fighting. Jair, Farias, I think if he keeps it on the feet, he's going to be taller, longer. I think he's the better striker and probably wins this fight. But Matthews tough. I mean, he went to a decision in a fight that he was kind of getting beat up on. So I'm going to go with Farias for the pick. As long as he can defend takedowns. I haven't really seen a great takedown game from Conor Matthews, so that makes me a little bit more confident in Farias. He'll be the pick for me. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on the line and see where the bet's going to go on that one.
I think someone gets exposed as a fraud in this fight, honestly.
Somebody
is.
Yeah, I would probably look for a finish early, somewhat, because Farias probably big power. Matthews could find a sub early too, so keep an eye on it.